It's the Shatkin First Down pregame show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo Bills alum Eric Wood. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to another edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. I'm Rich Gaenzler with Dr. Jared Shatkin, back with you again, and lots going on. We'll talk a little bit about the Bills-Patriots game. In the last segment, we're going to be joined by Eric Wood in our next segment, and of course, we'll be joined by the members of the Mafia as well in segment number 3. We always start off the show by going over the previous week's game. Obviously, you see behind us the Bills and the Giants. And Jared, obviously another slow start for the Bills offense, but they figured it out in the second half with long drives that ended up being scores. Again, why 3 quarters of inability to move the football against a team that had been giving up 31 points a game going into it and at home?
Yeah, that did not make me feel good watching the Bills offense struggle in that first half and a lot of the second half. But they did figure it out, and an ugly win is a win, like Von Miller said, and get 1-0 each week. But we do have to figure out something about our offense, maybe change our identity. Maybe go back to the passing offense with Josh Allen running the ball a little bit. Maybe we got to get him back to the hero ball, Josh. I don't know what's going on right now, but we have to put up some points, and we got to start playing as a unit instead of just individuals.
Well, I think you would agree that hero ball showed up again on the last touchdown to Morris. Clearly, Josh made some incredible plays late in that game to keep drives alive, and obviously on the touchdown play. But there were also things throughout the game that you had to get a little bit nervous about. The fact that he gets concussed, we think, for a moment, gets pulled off the field, goes into the blue tent. Then he gets knocked down, hurt his shoulder. And we knew he hurt his shoulder because he said after the game he went for x-rays. We know that. And then he also got into that scrum with Okereke in the end zone. I loved that. I thought that was great. But you're also the franchise quarterback. Maybe don't put yourself in that situation. What do you make of all of that?
Well, that's why his teammates love him for sure. That's why he's going after one of the biggest guys on the Giants. And, it's ill-advised. You're not going to want to see that all the time. But having a leader like that is a good thing for the team in the future, I believe. And I've seen Josh play through a ton of injuries, so I'm not too worried. He's a really tough guy.
I loved the Hardy touchdown play call. I've been waiting to use that guy's athletic ability, and they pull the Sky Moore Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl play out of their playbook and add it to ours. It's a copycat league. We hear that all the time, and we use it to our advantage, taking advantage of his athleticism.
Yeah, maybe we got to start copying a little bit more of Andy Reid's offense, right?
Yeah. I don't care whose it is. His, Shanahan's, McDaniel's, steal and improve. I'm good with it, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because I think that was pretty much the only play call throughout the game that sort of got me excited about a play call. The rest of it was just really incredible plays by Diggs and Allen. But that Hardy play was one of those where I'm like, okay, we can do that on first down, second down. We can do that in the red area. We can do that anywhere. If we can get him on the edge and we can get him one-on-one with the linebacker or a cornerback, we can get some big chunk plays out of that. So maybe even if we do that like a couple times a game, we get Sherfield or Hardy on some smaller guys. That could be a big part of our offense that we haven't seen yet.
Let's flip it over to the defensive side of the football. And guys they just continue to step up. I mean, look at Epinesa, another great game. Rousseau, another great game. And how about those linebackers, man? Those kids, we talked about it going into this game about how Dorian Williams getting more reps. He's going to get more comfortable. He was flying all over the place. Bernard was terrific. Talk a little bit about the D.
Dorian Williams is a guy, when we drafted him, I wanted him to start right away because I watched last year when Tulane played USC in, I think it was the Sugar Bowl, and the guy had 22 tackles. And I knew when he got in the game, he would make some splash plays. Did I think it would be this fast? No, but 10 tackles in that last game, and he was hitting the gaps really well. Bernard is another guy who is a young athletic guy, and I think we have upgraded at linebacker in the middle with Bernard, and I think Dorian Williams is going to start to come on really strong.
I'm wondering if we see Josh Norman this week, because Elam again, I felt, was victimized. I know Leonard Fournette was rumored at least to have visited the Bills, and thank God Damian Harris seems to be okay after the scare of being carted off in the ambulance with the neck, but he seems to be better. He's out of the hospital recuperating with those additions. But be interesting to see what happens again. We need Dane Jackson clearly back at corner for this team.
Yeah, Bedford played an awesome game. We definitely need Dane Jackson. Kyer Elam was the only one to let up those big plays. I know Tyrod was dropping some dimes, but I don't think those receivers should be beating us deep that much.
Von Miller, last thing on this game. 27 plays, I think it was. He's got 47 over 2. He wasn't a guy that stood out. His name wasn't mentioned much. He is clearly not as explosive as you would like him to be, but just having them there, I would suspect, is going to help the guy on the other side, whether it's Floyd or Epinesa or Russo.
Yeah, and I think game by game he's going to start getting stronger. An ACL injury is something that is all confidence. So if he gets more confident in that knee and he gets more confident in driving, he's going to get to be that player. And I think that's going to inspire a lot of other guys, and it's going to take up some blockers. And Leonard Floyd had 6.5 sacks already, so we can afford to wait on Von Miller to become Von Miller again.
Yeah, for sure. All right, great job. Eric Wood comes up next, of course, former Bills center, now the radio color analyst for Bills games. He will join us as we return right after this on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
It's apple picking time. When was the last time you bit into an apple? With affordable Shatkin mini dental implants, you can. Stabilize your dentures and replace missing teeth in as little as one visit. You can be you again, only better. Call the Aesthetic Associates Center today at 716-839-1700 for your free consultation.
All right, with former Bills great Eric Wood now doing the color on the radio for the Bills games. Great to see you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Always a pleasure being with you, Bull.
Appreciate it, man. So let's talk a little bit about the Bills and the Giants. First of all, how fun was it for you to catch back up with Tyrod pregame and maybe throughout the weekend?
Man, I actually didn't even get to talk to him till after the game, and I just shot him a text saying, hey, I'm proud of you. Thought Tyrod played well in the game. He managed the game well. They were undermanned in the game, especially up front on the offensive line. Brian Daboll did a great job of maneuvering him outside the pocket at times. A lot of quick game, a lot of design runs for Saquon, which kept the Bills defense honest. Now, they could have made the Giants offense look a lot worse had early in the game, you don't have that fumble, a couple trips, drops. Like if they don't have all that early on, they put a lot of pressure on this Giants offense with a 2-score lead. It's a totally different game. Instead, Tyrod got to manage the game, and he did well doing it.
Obviously, the big talking point the last 2 weeks has been the Bills' slow starts. And, you know, you kind of pointed toward what happened and why. The fumble, the trips on what looked to be open receiver routes. Obviously, that played a lot into it. But I don't think you can blame the entire slow start on just, let's just say, those 3 plays in particular. What do you think, again, over the last 2 weeks, their slow start could be attributed to?
It sounds simple and it sounds cliche, but it's a lack of execution. And, you know, let's fast forward. Let's rewind back to the Jaguars games. They go 3 and out their first 2 possessions of the game, and they don't score till their final possession right before the half. Well, in those 4 drives where they punted, you know, you can point towards drops, ineffective run game, but this is the Bills are going to be built as a passing team. They are. And so everyone out there saying, hey, they need to pound the rock with James Cook more. Look how many yards he gets. You know when James Cook really thrives? When they have a 2-score lead in the second half and they can really impose their will. He has not had great stats in the first quarter. He gets great stats when the Bills are playing with the lead and they're really leaning on a team late in the game. They've worn down the defense at that point. This is a passing team. Passing teams cannot have drops early in the game. They can't have penalties backing them up, and you can't have fumbles. You can't have receivers tripping when you script guys open. You go into a game and you only have, and look, you have a few plays where you're like, hey, this is going to be a good one. Well, you have back-to-back series where guys get tripped up when they're open for big gains. That makes a huge difference in the game. And so to me, it comes down to little things. And I think part of it is the Bills as an offense are adjusting to life without Josh Allen running. He's not even scrambling. He's not running sneaks at this point. And you know what? In week 6, I'm completely I'm great with it. I'm great with learning how to play without Josh getting hit. I mean, last game against the Giants, he got hit one time in the game. I mean, now he injured his shoulder on the play, but I am great with them still winning games, figuring this all out at this point of the season. Yes, we hate the slow starts, but if you look at the Bills' offensive rankings, they are still ranked very high across the board. And I said something on Twitter earlier, and I'm sure people will get offended, but if you just follow the Bills very closely and watch highlights from other teams, you're going to have a skewed misconception. You're going to have a misconception of what this Bills offense really is. And through 6 weeks, they're one of the best in the league.
Let's fast forward to Foxborough and the Patriots, who are a tire fire, a dumpster fire, a lobster fire. I mean, fill in the blank fire. That's kind of what this team is at this point. And of course, Bills fans are okay with that for sure. But let's talk about then. Nobody gave the Giants a chance to keep that game close. I know you did. You weren't surprised that game was closer than the odds makers thought it would be. But the Patriots also, like the Giants, have really significant injuries along both lines of scrimmage, and obviously really horrible quarterback play. So what do you make of this game coming up in New England this weekend?
Yeah, look, most games in the NFL are decided about one score or less. I think the Bills will win again, but, the fans that expect – and I say fans, that's not an indictment on the fans. I'm a fan of the Bills as well. But those out there that expect the Bills to just blow out every team that they're favored to beat, it just doesn't happen very often in the NFL. We saw a streak, for 3 straight weeks this season. And every time they do something like that, we're talking about historical numbers and point differential over a 3-game stretch. That doesn't happen week in and week out in the NFL. I expect it to be a close game. You're going to a divisional opponent's house that's familiar with you. And even if they stink, it's still the National Football League. It's going to be interesting to see what they do at quarterback. If they start working Malik Cunningham in there more, does it look more like a Wildcat offense than necessarily a Bill O'Brien traditional offense over there? That's yet to be seen. I don't know if they have the offensive talent to, keep up with this Bills offense, especially if they get back to executing early in games.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Well, let people know where people can see everything you're doing, from your podcast, obviously on GR with the Bills games and more. Where can we find Eric Wood?
Yeah, I have my Centered on Buffalo podcast, do a game preview each week with someone generally from the opposing team's media department, whether that's, their color analyst, a former player, whoever that may be. Have my book out still, What's Next with Eric Wood podcast. What's Next with Eric Wood. Sorry, book is Tackle What's Next, podcast What's Next with Eric Wood. So a little bit of everything going on, but enjoying the ride and enjoying this Bill season.
Appreciate you as always, man. One of the busiest men in media these days. He's doing everything. Eric Wood, thanks for being with us, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, Bull, anytime.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, the clinical director here at the new Shatkin Dental Health Postgraduate Dental Residency Program. For years, I've felt there's been a need to help those patients who just can't afford quality care but want to be treated in a private dental office setting. Shatkin Dental Health will save you 20 to 30% on the procedures you need without compromising the care you deserve.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile and receive a dental cleaning and x-rays for only $43. And as always, consultations are free.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
We're in the pocket with now San Antonio Gunslingers quarterback in the National Arena League, Sam Castronova. And this is brought to you by Mini Dumpster Rentals, and it's perfect because the Patriots are a dumpster fire, as we all know right now. They're just awful. Tire fire, lobster fire, something. I mean, they're just on fire, not in a good way, Sam. So why even bother talking about their quarterbacking? Because it's the worst position on their team we know, and we don't even know who's going to play. So instead, let's talk about Josh Allen, because you were talking to me off camera a little bit about Josh and some things that are frustrating you about his game.
Yeah, I mean, this is not necessarily his fault, but I feel like they've just completely cut his legs out from under him, literally, because he doesn't run at all anymore. That was one of his best weapons, was something breaks down, he'd scramble for 10, 15 yards, and it'd be a killer to the defense. And it's like they've told him he cannot do that, and you can tell he's literally overthinking, and it's frustrating because those would help extend drives sometimes that now is not happening, and the offense is stalling.
Yeah, and we were also talking about how leaders lead in certain ways. So you see different personalities in the Bills sideline during particular parts of the game, when it's going good, when it's going bad. We know how Diggs has reacted when things are going badly, typically.
Yeah.
But Josh seemingly is, I don't want to use the word emotionless, but I will, because it's the only thing I can think of at this point. But he just kind of, middle of the game, something's not going right. He just kind of sits there and, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, for being
not the way that you would lead.
Yeah, but being the franchise guy, it's almost frustrating sometimes because Diggs at least is trying to fire people up. Whenever something's not going well, you can tell a game's not going well. Josh will just go to the sideline like a sad puppy or something, and he just goes and sits down. I don't see him talking to nobody. I don't see him doing nothing. So I don't know. You'd like to see maybe a little bit of fire, maybe a little bit of something. I mean, obviously Brady got in trouble for throwing tablets, but shoot, at least he's upset that they're not executing the way they want to. So sometimes that can be frustrating, but I'm hoping we can flip the script and get a get-right game this week.
Yeah, for sure. And body language, you know, for anybody, it speaks for itself. And when you're a leader and the highest paid guy on your team and arguably your best player,
yeah,
shows sort of gives off sort of that negative physical vibe. I mean, it can wear on guys for sure. Sam, great job as always. Deliver that. We'll talk to you in the huddle.
Yeah, I think I shrunk a little bit this week.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler and the round table, the huddle, the mafia, whatever you want to call it. We got Dr. Jared, of course. We have Sam. You know these two. You probably know Evan. He's back again for another week. He's been here a multiple number of times. But Scott Marson has never been here. Welcome to the show from the Amherst South Rotary.
Thank you very much, Rich.
You got a very big event coming up. Why don't you tell the folks about it before we get to football?
We do. Right here at this location at Shatkin Dental, we'll be having our second ever Shredded event where we'll be hoping to raise some money for a couple of the local town food pantries in the town of Amherst. So on October 28th from 9 to 12, please bring out any of your old tax returns, bank statements, or any old documents that you want to get that are musting up your old basement. Bring them out, make a donation, and your basement will be cleaned up, and some of the food pantries will be stored with more food.
Man, I know a lot of people that could use this event. I got to spread the word. Everybody else spread the word, okay? All right, well, let's start talking about some football. And Scott, why don't I talk with you first, and let's talk about the Bills and the Giants and crazy parallels. I'll just throw this out there, and I tweeted it the other night just because the game was at times boring. But the parallels between Super Bowl 25 and that game I thought were really interesting. The Giants were wearing the same uniforms they did in 25. Giants had the backup quarterback playing. If the Giants had won on that last play, they would have won by 1 point. And what would the differential have been? A field goal where? Wide right. Oh, by the way, if the Bills had lost that game, they would have been behind the Jets in the AFC East. Just the thought is I shiver. Scott, let's talk about the Bills, though, first off, and again, another slow start. What everybody's got their own theory as to why this is happening. What do you think?
I think that it seems to me that when teams get the Bills on film, the Bills get slowed down really quick. We get off to a fast start. We have 3 games where we're blowing teams out, and also the next 2 games, we're stuck in the mud. The offense needs to maybe diversify a little bit more, get a few other players involved. We need to find out if there's a few other players who can actually step up and make a few plays for us and get us down the field.
Yeah, for sure. Evan, we talked about this before we started shooting, about incorporating some other people in terms of the game plan and the receiving game.
Yeah, so obviously last week the Bills didn't have Dalton Kincaid, and obviously that's going to kind of minus the Bills' receiving room a little bit. But we saw one play in particular with Deontay Hardy, his first touchdown of the season, which came right at the start of the fourth quarter, first touchdown of the game for the Bills, just on a nice little creative play call by Ken Dorsey. I think the Bills need to start incorporating a little more of these creative play calls, getting players involved, whether that's Dawson Knox underneath to get some yak, James Cook, Trent Sherfield, the one we saw with Deontay Hardy, Dalton Kincaid when healthy. Some of these guys that you don't see too often in the box score because the receptions are so very little, get them open, make the second and third read for Josh open, whether that's a creative play call or whatever. We need to see some of these, depth guys in the roster bolster up their numbers and help out Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Josh.
Yeah, and Sam, let's talk about this because think about the best offenses in the league right now, the Shanahan, the McDaniels. What are they using? They're using their athletes, and they're also being crazy creative in terms of their play calls. Lots of motion. The Bills are, you're a pro football player, you're a pro quarterback. You know what it looks like. They, to me, are pretty vanilla when it comes to getting up to the line of scrimmage, play after play after play offensively. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they're the worst because there's definitely a few that are much worse, but it's night and day when you watch the Dolphins or the 49ers versus our offense. It's like so many things are easy for them where everything is difficult for us. That last touchdown was all Josh Allen. Like, nobody was open, he making a play. So, I mean, you'd like to see, like you said, a lot more creativity and some more guys running open and available for yards after catch instead of just getting hit right away.
Jared, last thing on the offense real quick. We talked last week about how, and I think both of us agreed, we didn't like running out of the shotgun. I did a little math. The Bills in shotgun, 10 carries, 42 yards. Under center, 17 for 75, but only a 0.2 of a yard difference between the two. So maybe we throw the shotgun handoff out the window after that game?
I think we should just go back to passing the ball more, to be honest. I feel like when Brian Daboll was our offensive coordinator and we were putting up numbers and Josh Allen was throwing for tons of touchdowns, I mean, it's starting to get to the point where it's slowing us down to try to get the run game involved. And I think we need to pass to open up the run rather than run to open up the pass, because we only scored 14 points last game against a bad Giants team. And I have some concerns about Ken Dorsey, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, back to you, Scott. Epinesa, Russo looked great on defense. And I thought the young linebackers were terrific, too, in terms of Williams and Bernard. They were both tied for the team lead behind Taron Johnson in tackles. Bernard, 3 tackles for loss. I mean, talk about their evolution, albeit their timeline is small to this point in terms of on field.
Well, it's obvious that when Rousseau is healthy and playing, the defensive line plays a lot different. Epinesa, who's in a contract year, ironically, is really stepping up the game and making a big difference. And he's actually allowing Von Miller maybe to take a little extra time to get healed up again.
All right, time to do the 2-minute drill real quick and get to some trivia. All right, here we go, guys. We do trivia, and Bills Patriots. So Tom Brady won 15 starts in what's now Highmark Stadium, right? And during the new millennium, the current millennium, he technically won more games than any Bills quarterback in the millennium. Who had the most Bills wins in that stadium between the year 2000 and, let's say, now? Josh Allen not included. Would it have been Drew Bledsoe, Tyrod Taylor, or Ryan Fitzpatrick? Take a shot at this. What do you guys think?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'm going to go Bledsoe.
Bledsoe. Tyrod and Bledsoe tied at 14. Fitz had 12. That's question number 1. The Bills' 47-17 playoff win against New England was called the perfect offensive game ever. Why was it called the perfect offensive game?
No punts.
What else?
Scored every
touchdown.
every possession.
And what else? One more thing.
No turnovers?
No turnovers. There you go, Jared. And no field goals, by the way, is the other one. That's why they got called the perfect offensive game. Okay, very quickly, score prediction for the game against the Pats.
Bills break out of their slump. Offense finds its groove. 31-13.
Sam.
41-14 Bills.
Evan.
33-13.
Great job, guys. Jared and I will come back with our final segment and break down the Bills and the Patriots when we come back at the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
I'm Princess Glitterhead. I was in pain my whole life with my teeth. I want to feel better. Like, what could I do? Like, I could actually go all the way and actually fix myself, be healthy, get rid of all the decay. So I made a free consultation appointment. I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go get my teeth back. And I could see it helping so many people, including myself. It's gonna change your life. It really does. Wow. Oh my God.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
I don't know why I'm so emotional about it.
My self-esteem wasn't where it should have been because I was really, really self-conscious about my teeth. When I walked into Shatkin Dental, I was instantly ready for the residency program. I knew that that is what I needed. I needed the discount. I needed the dentist that was gonna fix everything. My self-esteem is already getting much, much, much higher just from starting the procedures.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile for quality dental care you can afford.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich and Jared, I haven't busted you yet, but There's no SSN fan cam this week, and I understand you were supposed to be the guy on the camera this past weekend.
Yeah, no, I don't think I should have been the guy on the camera. I was not acting appropriate.
All good, as you should be, as Mafia members in the pregame. I get it. All right, let's talk about the Patriots. Bills are 9-point favorites going into this game. I feel like this is a broken record from last week, right? I mean, the Patriots are basically what the Giants were. We know the last 2 scores are the biggest differentials, in Belichick's history as a Patriots coach, I believe. Terrible team on both sides of the ball. They can't score. They can't stop people from scoring. Their quarterback is all over the place. The run game's terrible. Their defense is, and yet at the same time, based on what just happened on Sunday night, it's a divisional game on the road. I have to be concerned, right?
Yeah, and also they played 2 tight games this year against 2 really good teams, the Eagles and the Dolphins. And I don't think it's a trap game. I think the Bills are always going to be awake for the Patriots. I think the Patriots roster is decimated. It's not as talented. It looks like they're going to a tank mode, but you always have to be worried about a division game. How many times did the Bills go into Foxborough and put up a good game with Ryan Fitzpatrick against Tom Brady and the Patriots? So this could be the similar situation, but I still think we have the upper hand.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a toss-up at quarterback. Is it going to be Mac Jones? Is it going to be Cunningham? Is it going to be Zappi? Is it going to be Greer? I mean, I don't think anybody really knows. It doesn't even matter in the end.
I'd play Will Greer on the record. I like the way he played in the preseason, but I'm not the Patriots yet.
You're not quite Bill Belichick yet?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not there.
All right. I mean, Bourne's got their most catches at 28. The next closest wide receiver is 14. Smith-Schuster's kind of all over the places with his injuries.
Yep.
Gesicki and Henry, they're right there as tight end catches, but not a lot. They haven't really shown much. Defensively, Judon's got 4 sacks, but he was IR'd. I can't fathom a Bills loss at all at this point. So,
well, Patriots got the good coaching. Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches of all time. But I agree. I don't see really any talent on the Patriots roster, and I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if they're trying to get Caleb Williams this year, but there is something to be said about losing to the Raiders last week. And the Raiders aren't a great team either, and they lost by 2 touchdowns to them.
I need to see a game like those weeks 2, 3, and 4 games, right, in this game?
I agree. I totally agree. We need to go in there. We need to be clean on offense. We need to keep stepping up on defense. We cannot let the Patriots do a thing, in my opinion. I didn't want to see the Giants do much, so I'm concerned from that game. And if this game goes a similar way, I'm going to be concerned again.
Get out of there with a very convincing win, maybe so convincing that Josh comes out in the 4th quarter. How great would that be? Yeah. As we're on a short week after this with a Thursday night game home against Tampa.
Yeah,
so it'd be nice to get some guys rest.
After he got banged up a little bit. Yeah, Josh needs a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, for sure. All right, get a score prediction, and then we'll get mine and get out of here.
All right, we're going to go 33-14 Buffalo.
All right, I'll go 26-9 Buffalo. Another weird score for me. Anyway, great job as always. Thanks a lot for your contribution. As always, thanks to the Mafia members. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to Dr. Todd Shatkin, Aesthetic Associates, and Shatkin Dental Health as well. Let's go Bills and Patriots from Foxborough. We'll talk to you next week on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
In the Pocket is sponsored by Mini Dumpster Rental. Call 716-429-6362. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.